What's up, everybody? It's your favorite hood healer. It's your favorite hood high priestess. It's your favorite motivational dominatrix. It's your favorite auntie, captain, goddess, pirate, king. LadySpeech in the place to be, and I want to welcome you back to my channel. You could be anywhere in the world. As a matter of fact, you are somewhere in the world, and you're also sharing a little bit of time and a little bit of space with me. So thank you for that. If you like what I'm doing, if you like what you see, if you're feeling any of this, if you're feeling any of me, then make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notifications bell so you can keep up with all my happenings and shenanigans, ups and downs and goings-ons and things. Now, let's get into today's most interesting tarot review, shall we? As you can see from the thumbnail and from the title of this video, today we are reviewing the Naked Heart Tarot. And this is a very interesting deck. Let's get into it. First and foremost, I want to say shout out to all of my loyal fans and followers and My Suga Honey Dumplings. This right here came from one of you Sugar Honey Dumplings. I've already shouted you out in a video when it comes to one of my Amazon hauls, so you can check that out if you so choose. With that being said, you can get this off of Amazon, and you may be able to get this from other magical stores, but you're gonna need to call. This is an independently produced deck, so you might not find it in all of the stores. However, call your local stores and tell them to pack this deck. Tell them to carry this deck, because it's amazing. It's amazing. First and foremost, let's talk about packaging and presentation. Like I said, I got this in the mail and it was wrapped in some cellophane, so nothing fancy smanchy there. I really do enjoy the box. The box is beautiful. We've got some simple symbols on the side. We've got the name of the deck on the side, the Naked Heart Tarot. Let's see if that'll focus. Then of course we've got some symbols on the side of there. The top and the bottom are blank. This is the beginning of the deck, so you've got a nice flower grid there with the heart and the moon, and then we've got a butterfly and two wolves howling at the moon. At the back, it is basic. It gives you a couple of the cards, and then it also lists Jillian C. Wilde, who this deck is by. So it lists that on the deck, and it does not say how much this deck is on the back of here. So I am not too sure how much this is. So this is a very good quality box. Y'all know I love a good quality box. You know I love a good quality, well-made box. And this is a good quality, well-made box. When you get into it, when you open it, it's just basic black with the quote on the middle. This is by Jillian, C. Wilde, and it says, "The naked heart holds the secrets of the soul." So we've got a nice little quote in there, and then on the inside, it's got a ribbon. I tore it, so excuse me, when I was bringing these cards out, I pulled a little bit too hard, and I ended up tearing this right here. But it's got some symbols. We've got the wand, we've got the cup, we've got the sword, and we've got the pentacle. So these are the symbols of the minor arcana suit inside of the card. So let's get into what happens when you open this deck. All right, you guys, the very first thing I saw when I opened this deck is this card, and it is a thank you card, so let's read it. "Thank you for supporting this independently created and published deck. I am honored to be a part of your journey. Visit www.jilliancwilde.com and sign up to the newsletter and instantly receive free supporting tools, downloadable spreads, exclusive gifts, and more. Product quality and all your happiness is important. If you have a concern, please connect with me at jilliancwilde.com. I am an independently run female business. Your 5-star reviews help the continued success of the deck. Thanks for being part of the magic. XO Jillian." And we have the card, which I think is, let's see if this will get it to focus. It's really beautiful. It mimics the artwork that is on the deck and on the box. This is really amazing. This is really beautiful. I didn't realize when I put this on my wish list that this was an independently owned, run, and created deck. So I'm really happy that I could support this female-run business. I want to take a moment and say, excuse the noise that you hear outside. That is the custodial folks who are vacuuming the outside of the apartment, the hallways, okay? So that's the extra noise that you hear. Now, when you first open the deck, this falls out. Next that comes out is the guidebook, which we're going to get into. Then we have this card. So oftentimes in tarot decks, you'll have an extra card that just tells you a little bit about the deck, or it's an extra decorative card. And this is that card. So this card says, The Naked Tarot. This deck has been created and set with the intention of providing healing energy, clarity, guidance, and truth. Each card provides insight into the naked heart, where ego is extinguished and purity of light flows within you. I am glad we found each other. Much love, Jillian C. Wild. First and foremost, this whole deck is so intentional. It's so intentional. And if you haven't gotten it by now, the foundation energy of this deck is all about the heart. So you can tell that Jillian is all about the healing of the heart, and the focus is on the heart. So after that comes out, you get your deck here. So let's get it, well, actually, before we do that, so you get your deck. This is what's up under that little card. And lastly, you get this, which turns out to be a crystal grid. This deck just got real interesting. So I'm going to show you this crystal grid, and I'm going to read you the back of it. It says, The Naked Heart Grid was created with the intention to safely open the heart. Build a secure and supported connection with the highest version of yourself, and support the flow of unconditional love through the sacred space that is you. So what this is that you're looking at is a crystal grid, and what you're able to do is place crystals around the grid in certain points and formations to help you in your meditation, to help you in your spell work, to help you in your personal healing work. I have never ever received a deck that came with the crystal grid. I think this is amazing. I think it's innovative. I think it's new. I think it's something different. And I think the grid itself is really pretty. Even if you didn't want to use it as a crystal grid, you can straighten this out, you can flatten it out, and you can display it as a piece of artwork. And I think this artwork would be beautiful in your home or in your setup. So shout out to the crystal grid that comes in this deck. Speaking of a crystal grid, let's get into the back of these cards. This design is not only pretty, but it's functional. First and foremost, we have two butterflies, and in between their tails you have the moon. And then you have this lovely mandala grid design. So this, first and foremost, is cute, it's simple, it's wonderful. However, it doesn't stop there. You can also use the back of this as a crystal grid as well. And there are instructions that are included in the guidebook that tell you how to utilize the back of this card as a crystal grid. So first and foremost, I have never encountered a tarot deck that encourages and also gives instructions to utilize crystals or an outside tool to help work with the deck. Now, you can utilize outside tools to work with your decks. I do that all the time. But this is the first time I've encountered a deck that not only encouraged it, but also suggested it, and within the deck itself, it gives you tools to help aid. So on the very back of the card, if you don't want to use the crystal grid that I just showed you, you can also pick one of the cards, and if you're doing specific work around that card in your personal life, you can utilize the back of the card as a crystal grid to help you. I oftentimes will use my tarot decks and my oracle decks in a few different ways. I definitely give readings to myself and to my clients and to everybody else, but I also have used decks in relation to spell work. There are certain tarot spells that I have done, and there are other spells that I have done where I've utilized the energy of tarot decks. So I really like this deck, and I have a feeling that this is a deck that I'm going to actually be using heavy when it comes to formulation work, or when it comes to divination work, or when it comes to just other spell work. I have a feeling that I'm going to be utilizing this deck a lot. Now, let's get into this guidebook, because we all know I loves me a guidebook, a good one. Y'all are already gonna probably know my first complaint, and that is the fact that this guidebook is so small. I prefer bigger guidebooks, but with that being said, this guidebook is cute, okay? First and foremost, the design, it of course aligns with the designs of the cards. This is the same design that I believe that's on the outside of the deck. Yes, it is. I just double checked. And then of course, the back of this card shows the symbols for the minor arcana. We've got the wand, we've got the cups, we've got the swords, and we've got the pentacles, okay? Now, this deck is small, but I'm really actually impressed with the font. The font is actually easy to read. It has about 3 different font sizes, or 3 different styles of font, and all of them are actually really easy to read. Some guidebooks show you a picture of the card, and some guidebooks don't. They either just say the name or they have the card's numbers. This does end up showing you, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see, in the top corner, it does show you actually the picture of the card that you're working with, as well as the description and the name, okay? So how this is broken down. So you have the naked heart message. First and foremost, you have what the card is, and then you have the naked heart message, which is the message from the card, and if that card was upright, if it's being read upright. Then you have a crystal recommendation. So again, this card is all about collaboration. This deck is all about collaboration. This is a deck that you can actively use your crystals with. So if you are into crystals, if you are really into crystals and you work a lot with them, utilize your crystals with this. So the next is the crystal recommendation. Then it has the ruling planet of the card. Then it has a message from whatever symbol is on the card. So I happen to be on the Sun card. This is in the Major Arcana suit. So this is the Sun card. The definition of the card is the light worker. And so it has of course, the naked heart message, the crystal recommendation, the ruling planet. And then on this card is the scarab. It's the scarab beetle that is pictured on the card. So then that has a message. So it has the scarab beetle familiar whispers, and then it has the heart disconnect meaning, and the heart disconnect is the reverse. So if you read reversals, if you read the upright cards and the reversal way of the card in tarot, then the reverse meaning is classified as the heart disconnect. So once again, the foundation of this is all about heart and crystals, as it turns out. I'm loving the fact that it creates, or it suggests, crystals. Let's see, I just pulled to another page. So we're on the Sky Father. We're still in the Major Arcana suit. So again, it's the same thing, set up the same way. So the naked heart message, the crystal recommendation, the astrological sign, and this is the cosmic familiar whispers and the heart disconnect. Let's go to a minor arcana and see how that's set up. So it looks like it's the same thing. It has the name, the 8 of Pentacles. It has the picture of the card in the corner. It has the naked heart message, but this doesn't have, all right, it looks like the minor arcana do not have the crystal recommendation. So they just have the naked heart message. Then it has they call it the familiar whispers. And so again, that it corresponds to whatever picture is on the card. So with the 8 of Pentacles, this happens to be, the picture on here is a beaver. So it's beaver familiar whispers, and then it has the heart disconnect. So this is a little bit different. this is a little bit different in regards to a lot of the tarot decks that I have encountered before. From the crystal recommendations, lots of similar things. Of course, there's a major arcana and there's a minor arcana. So lots of traditional tarot energies around this deck, but also this deck is doing some new things. This deck is doing some new things. So let's talk about the pros and the cons in regards to the book. The cons, I do not like the size. Y'all know I wish it was a little bit bigger. However, this is, these cards seem to be the pretty standard size for tarot cards. So this is a standard size book. I just like my books a little bit bigger. But after that, I think the book is really good. First and foremost, it's bound really well. This is a good quality made book. It's not flimsy. I feel like you can, you know, get a nice little, you can read it well. Sometimes the books, they look good, but when you open them up, it's actually super hard to crack open and to read. This is not the case with this book. You can dive right on into it. I feel like the pages are a little bit thicker than average, so I do appreciate that as well. I love this book because it teaches you how to work with the crystal grid, so you can work, there's instructions to work with the back of the card as well as instructions to work with the card. I like the way this is set up. Even though this is smaller than I would like, the font is nice to read. It's not, I'm not straining. Of course, I have my contacts in right now, but I feel like even without my contacts, this is going to be easy to read. The design of the book is really good. I like the fact that you can see a picture of the card on the description of the card description. So overall, I like the book. I think there's a lot of really good things about the book. The book is nice. It looks good. There's no color inside, but the design of the cards are pretty distinctive. So even though you can tell. So even though the cards come up black and white in here, you can tell. I think the book is good. I think the book is good. Now let's break off into these cards. So we talked about the back of the cards and the fact that they're beautiful, okay? The color scheme on the back of the card is very simple. It's black, white, and gold, geometric design. I love it. I love it, with a little bit of grays and stuff in there. The design of the cards are clean and simple, okay? And also a bit whimsical as well, all right? Looking at these cards, they make me happy. There's, like, the first card up is the Fool, and it's a picture of a unicorn and the moon. And the unicorn has this black and white hair. Whimsical. I absolutely love it. And it's got these shapes, there's a bit of abstractness to them, but also like some very directness to them. Let's take a look at the Magician's card as well. Again, the design is very simple. Most of this cards, the base is white, and then it has these designs. You can see the eye and the roses. I hope that focuses up a little bit better. But there's also a lot of detail with the cards as well. There's a lot of detail. There's little symbols involved. I love it. There's a lot of like negative space. There's black and white. Let's take a look at the High Priestess card. I love it. So we've got the owl, and then we've got the moon represented on there. So the design of the cards, clean, very simple. There's a whimsicalness to them, a little bit of like abstract art to them. Oh, I love this. I love this. This is Sky Father. So again, there's a lot of traditional things about the card, but there's not traditional things. So Sky Father is not a name that is usually assigned to the major arcana. It takes the name of takes the place of another place in the traditional tarot deck, but I'm loving it. There are some names that are the same, like the Fool, the Musician, the Hermit, and there's some that are not. We have the Sage card, all of that. It seems as though I do not see I don't see a lot of humanoid presence in the card. I did see, like the Magician card, there was the eye, but that looks like a human eye, but it not necessarily doesn't have to be. I'm looking through these cards and I don't see any humans. I see a lot of trees. I see tortoises, I see wings, I see foliage, I see the moon represented, and a lot of animals and also objects. We have the Two of Wands, which is all about these wands, but then that is a crystal ball in the background as well. So yeah, there's not any like humanoid representation. Ooh, the Five of Wands, look at this. Wonderful. So I really like the design of the cards. The design of the cards are really nice. Lots of white space. I don't think I own a deck that has that much white space. Each card has a lot of like white space around it. So these are definitely cards that I'm gonna need to make sure my hands are clean when I'm handling these. I do not want any type of fingerprints on these cards, but I love the design. So the construction of the cards, this is a pretty thick card stock. I like it. This is going to stand up. It's not too thin. Tarot cards get used, my loves. They get abused, used and abused. So I really feel like this is going to be really good the first shuffle out. A little bit stiff, but they're not gonna take that long to break in. And also like, they're not gonna break down once you break them in. I really feel like the card stock is quality card stock. Again, y'all know I hate too thin of a card. I hate too thin of a card. I'm quite heavy-handed. I can be quite heavy-handed, so too thin of a card always annoys me. They're pretty standard in regards to the size of tarot cards, so a little bit longer than playing cards and a little bit skinnier than playing cards. So this is a pretty standard size for it. I love it. I am more than likely gonna keep these in the box. The box is durable, but I will probably get a bag and put the box with the cards in the bag and keep them like that. But all in all, what I recommend, the Naked Heart Tarot by Jillian C. Wilde. Oops. Dropped it. Would I recommend the Naked Heart Tarot by Jillian C. Wilde? Your answer is 10 out of 10. I would definitely recommend. I would definitely recommend. I love the fact that this is a deck that's about collaboration. I love the fact that you can bust out your crystals and, you know, create your crystal deck. Again, if you don't want to use that crystal grid for crystal grids, frame it. Flatten it out under some books for a week or two, a couple weeks, and then frame it. I think it's a beautiful design. The design of the cards, the aesthetic of the cards is wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. I love the cleanliness of them. I love how clean they are. And I like the new take. I like some of the new names that were used, but I also appreciate the fact that it's familiar enough. Jillian used enough of the old and the standard tarot, you know, card names so that you're familiar. It's not something that's too unfamiliar. I love the fact that there are so many nature and animal references in it, and there's no humans in it at all. I have several tarot decks and oracle card decks that have a lot of human features and human people, which is amazing and dope and wonderful. But this is a deck that does not focus on humans at all, and I love it. So a really beautiful deck. This is a deck that I can definitely see using with my clients. This is a deck that is probably going to show up, not probably, it is going to show up in some of the Sunday readings. It's going to show up in the new moon readings, the full moon readings. So I look forward to sharing this deck with you, and you can look forward to seeing this deck in action on my channel. So I want to give you a hand, Jillian. If you come across this video, great job. Great job. And you know what, you have definitely, it's been on my mind. I've been wanting to, there are 3 decks that I want to create that have been in my head to create for the last 10 years, and I'm really starting to wrap my mind around that and wanting to put some feet, give that some feet, and this super inspired me. Again, Jillian this is independent. This is Jillian, this is her operation. I hope I'm using the right pronouns. I really feel like, well, yeah, I am, because you said female. So yeah, Jillian is out here doing it, and this is an independent little effort from her. So this has definitely inspired me this has lit a fire up under me to start designing, to get on board, to get my stuff out there. So awesome, and I'm so glad that I could support you. So yeah, if you want to check this out, go to Amazon.com and then hit up your local or just hit up your local, before you go to Amazon actually, hit up your local apothecary, hit up your local magic store and ask them to carry this deck. And that's that on divination. And that's that on tarot. If you made it to the end of this video, gold star for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate you so deeply and so dearly. Your support means everything to me. It means everything to me. When you spend your time, when you spend your attention, that's currency and you can't get that back. So when you spend that with me, I appreciate it. It means that I'm doing good work that keeps you interested, entertained, and well nourished in your spirit. Also, I hope it educates you in some way, shape, or form. So thank you. You know what? I forgot to mention how much this deck was, and that's because I don't know. It didn't say. Sometimes it is on the back, on the barcode, and it doesn't say how much this was, but I'm thinking it was probably around like the $25 mark or the $25 space. That's probably the average. The average that I usually end up paying for decks is like $25 to $40 depending on what that deck has going on, but I think that's right in between like the 25 to 30 mark. So don't quote me on that though, you can look it up. So, and that's that on that. I have nothing else to say. This has been fun. I love doing these tarot reviews. I know that these don't get as many views as my other videos, but I'm gonna just keep doing them because I feel like they're beneficial. I know as a reader, I would like to hear some reviews sometimes before I buy a deck, or even if I already have the deck, I love to see what other people think about the deck and how they use it and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna keep doing these. Let me know in the comments if you benefit from this comment, if my witchy folk, my witchy brethren, sistren, and siblings out there benefit. If you do, let me know, baby, let me know. And on that note, I'm going to let you go, all right? If you like what I'm doing, if you like what you see, if you're feeling any of this, and if you're feeling any of me, you know what to do. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And make sure you hit that notifications bell so you can keep up with everything I'm doing on here. And on that note, I love you. I appreciate you. Just in case no one has told you today, you are important and you absolutely matter here on this planet. Thank you. Thank you for surviving everything you have survived. And God willing, on that note, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.